Buckle up, buttercups. On May 29, 2025, Donald Trump took to Truth Social to unleash a torrent of digital fury. His target? The conservative legal movement he once championed, the judges he appointed, and the Federalist Society. It was a spectacular public meltdown, a fireworks display of grievances and accusations. Imagine Trump, perhaps in his silk pajamas, illuminated by his phone screen, thumbs flying with righteous indignation. He accused these conservative legal eagles of giving him bad advice. This, from the man whose presidency was a masterclass in questionable decision-making. It's like a chef blaming the ingredients for a burnt meal. This wasn't just a casual grumble, it was a full-throated declaration of war on his own judicial legacy. He disavowed Leonard Leo, a key architect of his judicial appointments, and anyone who opposed his MAGA agenda. The tirade painted a picture of a man feeling betrayed, expecting loyalty to him personally, not to the Constitution. He claimed naivety, suggesting he was duped by these cunning legal scholars. This public uncoupling signaled a profound shift in conservative legal politics, unfolding in real time, one angry post at a time. The sheer audacity is almost breathtaking if it weren't so deeply concerning for the stability of the legal system. What sparked this conservative-on-conservative ire? A niche ruling from the U.S. Court of International Trade. This court ruled that Trump had overstepped his authority on global tariffs. The irony? One of the judges involved was a Trump appointee. This wasn't just a legal setback, in Trump's eyes, it was a profound betrayal. Trump and his inner circle began muttering about a judicial coup. Judicial independence, a cornerstone of democratic societies, was viewed as a personal affront. The U.S. Court of International Trade became the unwitting catalyst for this public divorce. Its judges, tasked with trade disputes, found themselves at the epicenter of a political earthquake. They simply applied the law as they saw it, a fundamental duty of the judiciary. But in Trump's world, this act of judicial interpretation was seen as a declaration of war. The message was clear: agree with me, or you're the enemy, even if I put you there. To understand this spat, one must appreciate the relationship between Trump and the conservative legal movement, particularly Leonard Leo and the Federalist Society. This was a strategic alliance, a marriage of convenience. Trump needed the conservative establishment's imprimatur, and what better way to get it than by reshaping the judiciary in their image? Leonard Leo, then the executive vice president of the Federalist Society, became a central figure in this endeavor. He guided Trump's judicial selections, helping to place 3 conservative justices onto the Supreme Court. This was the crown jewel of their collaboration, a legacy-defining achievement. Hundreds of other federal judges were appointed with the Federalist Society's nod of approval. This alliance was a cornerstone of Trump's appeal to GOP elites. The overturning of Roe v. Wade was a monumental victory for the conservative legal movement. But cracks began to appear after the 2020 election, when the Supreme Court refused to entertain Trump's claims of widespread fraud. The expectation of personal loyalty, rather than fealty to legal principle, was always a ticking time bomb, and with the recent trade court ruling, that bomb finally detonated. June 2025 proved particularly bruising for the Trump administration in federal district courts. According to the Democracy docket, 96% of rulings went against the administration. What makes this statistic even more fascinating is the composition of the judges delivering these blows. 80% of adverse rulings came from Democrat-appointed judges, but 72% of these losses came at the hands of Republican-appointed judges. This analysis underscores that the issue wasn't purely partisan, it was often about the law itself. Originalist judges halted what they deemed an unconstitutional trade policy. Conservative jurists ruled against parts of his administration's aggressive mass deportation attempts. Adherence to constitutional principles can outweigh partisan allegiance. This wave of defeats highlights a fundamental misunderstanding on Trump's part about the judiciary. Many conservative judges believe deeply in judicial independence and the rule of law. Their rulings were not a betrayal of conservative principles, but an affirmation of them. Why this dramatic losing streak in the lower courts? Several factors contributed to this judicial drubbing. One significant factor is the turmoil within the Department of Justice. A considerable number of officials have reportedly left or been purged from the DOJ. This exodus leads to increased workloads, stretched resources, and a decline in the quality of legal work. Trump's relentless attacks on the legal profession haven't helped matters. His constant denigration of judges and courts creates an adversarial environment. Judges, regardless of their political affiliation, have sworn an oath to the Constitution. Constant broadsides against their integrity are unlikely to endear them to an administration's legal arguments. The Trump administration pushed for a significant expansion of executive power. Judges find it difficult to support actions that undermine core tenets like due process and habeas corpus. When an administration consistently tests the limits of its authority, the judiciary pushes back. It's not a conspiracy, it's the system working. In the wake of Trump's denunciation of the conservative legal establishment, the messaging from his camp solidified. Enter Stephen Miller, a senior White House official known for his hardline views. Miller publicly confirmed that the Federalist Society would no longer be involved in the judicial nomination process. Miller criticized rogue judges and lamented poor vetting. This announcement was a formal declaration of independence from the Federalist Society. The new emphasis appeared to be on unwavering personal loyalty and a willingness to support the administration's policy goals. Leonard Leo offered a more measured response. Leo expressed gratitude for Trump's transformation of the federal courts. There was no public mudslinging, no direct rebuttal of Miller's criticisms. Leo focused on past successes, perhaps to salvage the conservative legal movement's achievements. Leo's statement highlighted the awkward position he and the Federalist Society now found themselves in. The architects of a conservative judicial revolution were suddenly on the outside looking in. The break with the Federalist Society heralded a tangible shift in Trump's strategy for judicial nominations. The old playbook, which relied on conservative legal organizations, was being tossed aside. In its place, a new approach emerged, prioritizing perceived personal loyalty. The nomination of Emil Bove, Trump's former defense attorney, as a federal appeals judge, exemplified this new direction. Bove's nomination was significant for what he represented, a move towards individuals with a direct personal connection to Trump. The message was clear: if you fought for me, I'll fight for you. This approach fundamentally alters the calculus for judicial appointments. The rogue judge's narrative suggests a belief that even carefully selected conservative jurists could not be counted on. The new strategy aimed to minimize this risk by selecting individuals whose loyalty was beyond question. This shift reflects a broader disillusionment within Trump's circle regarding the reliability of judges chosen through the old system. The implications of this evolving strategy are far-reaching. Critics view it as a dangerous erosion of the separation of powers and a threat to the rule of law. Trump's recent outburst against conservative judges is the latest in his sustained assault on judicial independence. Throughout his public life, Trump has consistently attacked judges who rule against him. For Trump, judges are either with him or against him. There is no room for neutral arbiters of the law. He frames any judicial decision that doesn't align with his desired outcome as a personal affront. Judges who oppose his agenda are accused of siding with the radical left. Conversely, any ruling in his favor is trumpeted as a complete vindication. This binary worldview leaves no space for the nuanced application of legal principles. This sustained campaign has a corrosive effect on public trust in the judiciary. The judiciary relies heavily on its perceived legitimacy and public acceptance of its authority. Trump's attacks chip away at this respect, potentially weakening one of the key pillars of American democracy. His support for any particular conservative legal philosophy appears to be conditional on whether it serves his immediate interests. The judiciary, in his view, is not a co-equal branch of government, but another instrument to be wielded in pursuit of his agenda. Despite recent losses in the lower courts, the legal drama surrounding Trump is far from over. Many of these lower court rulings are likely to be appealed. The battles will move to the appellate courts, where the composition of judges may be different. The appellate courts, including the circuit courts and the Supreme Court, are where many of these contentious legal issues will find their ultimate resolution. Trump successfully appointed a significant number of conservative judges to these appellate benches during his first term. While some Republican-appointed judges in the district courts have ruled against him, it remains to be seen whether their colleagues in the higher courts will take a similar stance. The Supreme Court, with its 6-3 conservative majority, has shown a willingness to grant significant deference to executive power. The slower pace of judicial retirements at the beginning of Trump's second term adds another layer of complexity. Trump's first slate of judicial nominees in his second term is facing a longer confirmation process. The future of Trump's legal battles will depend on a complex interplay of factors. The increasing politicization of the judiciary and the emphasis on personal loyalty cast a long shadow over the entire process. The road ahead is uncertain and fraught with potential challenges to the foundations of the American legal system.